Time for us to talk.
Yeah, baby.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, Dan.
Welcome on. Welcome on
Get
into
in on it.
Game of four. Gang of four.
How much time did they say that she was going to have with you?
That's part of the issue is I only had a couple of minutes. And so I was trying to get the question out very quickly. And
do you think that's by design? She didn't want to spend too much time. She wanted to get in and get out.
I don't know.
She said she had another phone call, right?
Another hit, yeah.
Yep. I think I got it here, John. I think I got the whole thing.
All right.
Let's see. I don't know.
Well, Dan.
You got it.
Oh, my goodness gracious. For people who are just joining us, so I think I rushed through the question. And so she may have misinterpreted my question as being maybe inartful, the way that I asked the question. But basically, I mean, I asked her so you were not sold or whatever on Thune and Rick Scott and John Cornyn. So, what changed your mind? And they had
Is
this
you not stewing on it?
They had the form. No, it's
that's what I think you're doing, right?
Well, Dan.
no, I'm not stewing on anything. I'm not stewing on anything. But I went back and I listened to the question, and I mean, maybe it was a little inartful, but she knew what I meant. It's like, okay, so why?
I thought the question was fine. I thought you nailed it. It was the one question that everybody wants to know. The people of Middle Tennessee have been flooding her voicemail box because they won't pick up the phone to get answers from her. And that's what you wanted the answer to.
Yeah. And Chris, why were they doing that?
I have no idea.
Because you sent them there.
Maybe.
Murphy Show. Murphy Show was on it yesterday, from what I understand.
I've been trying to get her on my show, too. I don't know why she won't come on.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she's annoyed with WTN because of all of the ruckus that, has been caused on this radio station.
Well, Chris.
She brought the ruckus.
So once again, Dan gets blamed.
That's something Chris did. This is like YouTube all over again.
Well, Dan.
If I knew that you were going to be the one catching blame for me, I would have been doing much more outlandish things.
Anyway, whatever.
I may start.
It's funny though when you look at, because I pulled that off of YouTube, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that Johnny and I both look at each other when when she
Dan
she says that.
Well, Dan
and we're just like
that sounds like a spouse.
I'm trying to get it to. Oh, I see what's happening.
That sounds like a spouse when you've totally PO'd them.
Yeah, but Johnny and I look at each other when she said that, and we all both kind of look at each other like, did that just happen? Whatever. So listen, all they want to, I think what she was trying to say is we had the form, and then that's when she made up her mind.
That's what changed her mind.
All she wanted to do was hear from all three.
Yeah, sure.
It wasn't you, Chris.
Sure.
I don't get it though, because you know these guys. You've served with them for years. Rick Scott and John Cornyn and John Thune. You've been working with all of them for years. So Bill Haggerty, he was first up and said, "I don't need to hear from these three. I'm voting for Rick Scott. Rick Scott has my support." So I think that may have been part of it.
Marsha's been around a little bit longer, and she may have that whole political I'm listening to both sides thing going on.
Maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Listen to the people that voted for you is probably the better idea.
You want to hear it one more time?
Idea.
I do.
You guys want to hear it one more time?
Yeah.
Well, Dan.
Currently, the names in support of Rick Scott: Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Ron Johnson, Blackburn, Rand Paul, Haggerty, Rubio, Tuberville. Do you think Rick Scott makes it across the finish line?
He's got. Oh yeah, absolutely. It sounds like it.
Well, you want someone that's going to, push the Trump agenda.
Well, that's the whole point. And we've all been saying that Cornyn and Thune, they went out and they had trashed Trump. I forget exactly what they did. You had the audio.
Some of the early stuff, like in 2016, when they're doing the Never Trumper thing, I can forgive that, right? We forgave J.D. Vance for that. And if you have a change of heart, make it known. But the thing that really, really got me was when both Thune and Cornyn came out after the E. Jean Carroll verdict. They're like, well, this is disqualifying, and we can't believe.
Yeah. And that was such BS.
Are you paying attention? The woman who tells Anderson Cooper that rape is sexy is to, we had to take her word for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then you have Trump's ex-wife who tells the press, I've never seen Donald Trump chase any woman. It's always the other way around.
Yep.
It's tough to be Trump.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Chris, what did you bring for this train wreck of a segment?
Well, I got another reason not to send your kids to a DE Ivy League school. Yale University is offering Beyonce Makes History courses in 2025.
She makes what?
History.
Beyonce Makes History. That's the course.
What history did she make? About the Grammys?
I don't know.
Her country album?
It's titled Beyonce Makes History, Black Radical Tradition, Culture, Theory, and Politics Through Music. It's a 1-credit class that will focus on the period from her 2013 self-titled album through this year's genre-defying Cowboy Carter.
I thought, it's kind of funny because when I heard that it was going to be a Beyonce in history, I thought it was because she made the worst country album in history. Is that... Okay, anyway, what else
I
you got?
felt like it was cultural appropriation.
There you go. Cultural appropriate, whatever. Moving on.
Yeah.
You had, Joan, a bunch of names of people that might end up being press secretary.
Yes.
Sage Steele.
Yes.
Chris, I want to know, I want to do a poll of the four of us. Who do you want for press secretary of these names? One was Sage Steele.
Who's like, Sage Steele is like a bizarro KJP, right? She's like the exact opposite.
Yes.
Superman versus Bizarro. Do you understand the reference?
Sure.
Okay.
No.
Well,
Joan doesn't understand it.
Bizarro was made in a lab, and he's like the exact opposite of Superman, but he has all the same powers.
Joan is like SpongeBob opposite day. Think about it like that.
I get it. Okay.
Thank you. See, I know stuff too.
Well, Dan, here's another one that I think is really, you're going to love this one.
Yeah.
CNN contributor Scott Jennings.
I love that
Can
one.
you imagine how he put these
Scott
people
Jennings.
in their places?
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Scott would be a good one.
Trump advisor and attorney Alina Habba.
She'd be a home run.
She'd be a home run.
You know what? Do you know what I think about when I think of Alina Habba?
Habba.
Well, Dan.
This is a family show. Go ahead.
She takes all the fun out of my jokes. All I was going to say was Habba Habba.
Well, Dan.
Time to go get your little old man jeans on.
Hashtag trendsetter, baby.
Yeah.
Well, Dan.
Oh, moving right along.
Good night. Listen, jorts are fine. Jorts are cool.
Are jorts cool?
Wear jorts.
Okay.
Wear Crocs.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
By all means.
Usually I agree with you, Chris, but no.
Are you talking about what is your problem, jorts, or what is your problem, Johnny?
With both.
I don't own either, but I don't want to stomp all over Dan. Wear them, Dan.
Dan.
I've had a hard day.
Well, Dan.
I've had a hard day.
Yes, you have.
You know, I probably could have been better just to ask her about jorts and Crocs.
Should have gotten him a little cry room of his own next door.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I'm going to go home and take a bath.
A bubble bath.
Yes, that's exactly what I need to do.
Calgon, take me away.
So what were the other names? Scott Jennings. Sage Steele.
Oh, Monica Crowley.
Nah.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Nope.
She's too nice.
I want Trace Atkins. Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, with that
wouldn't
voice.
that be great?
That would be fun.
What the hell you want?
And the other side of this is that they're going to shake up the way that press passes are given. There's 49 seats, and that's it. They can't make that room any bigger.
Yep.
Which I argue that they probably could if they wanted to. But they're going to give new media outlets some passes this time.
Here we go.
Yeah, Bannon's War Room is rumored to be one of them.
As they should be.
Absolutely. And because there's only 49, some are going to get booted out, especially of those two front rows.
Well, listen, when Elon Musk buys MSNBC, then they get a seat. Mm-hmm. You heard that, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. CNN is going to be letting a lot of people go. Maybe they can let go of the White House press person and they can give up their seats to Steve Bannon. Oh, can you imagine that?
Do you think the announcement of Chris Wallace going, I'm going independent, was him getting in front of being laid off by CNN?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Of course. He signed a 3-year deal. And so after 3 years, he's gone, and he knew that he was gone. So he just decided, okay, I'm going to say that I'm going to go do whatever the heck it is. You know, Chris Wallace, go retire.
He said, it's my job, my choice.
Dude, you are 77 years old. Just go retire.
Honestly.
You're like Brian Wilson. Just retire. Well, he announced it, right?
Well,
Am I missing something?
Well, Dan.
Yeah, you did.
No, yeah, he announced it.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, I was out of town. Everybody's like, oh crap,
The
Mandis, you
silence.
weren't supposed to say anything.
Well, Dan.
Oh, that one's got legs.
I think
Yeah, it does.
that's going to live on in infamy,
Yes,
man.
it will.
Yeah.
No, listen. I'm very happy for Brian.
I am too.
He has had an incredible 50+ year career.
100%.
50 plus.
Unreal career.
I was at the dentist yesterday, and
Yeah.
you know how when you're in the dentist office and you're like getting your teeth cleaned, the next room over, like there's no doors, everything's open.
Yeah.
The tech from the other room next door pokes her head in and says to me, she has no idea who I am. She pokes her head in and she says, I can't believe he's going to retire.
And Joan with the stuff in her mouth.
Yeah. So they must
what I
have
love.
looked at where I worked, and the lady came around the corner and she said, I can't believe Brian Wilson's going to retire.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
so back to that list of press secretaries.
yes.
I'm very disappointed that Peter Doocy or Alex Jones are not on the list.
Yeah. Well, I think Peter Doocy really enjoys doing what he's doing.
Alex Jones
But
put
Alex
his name out
Jones.
there.
It would be that's the meme candidate.
I know it's the meme candidate.
I love it.
Wouldn't that be
I know you
amazing?
love it. I don't.
I think it would be hilarious.
See, I think it would be funny, but the reasoning was because he says somebody's got to go in there and tell them that they don't matter and they're all pieces of crap. Right?
enemy.
Yeah. And for me, I'm just like, you know what?
They're turning the frogs gay. Why didn't you cover that? You're asking me about budgets? What about the frogs?
He's going to need some slippery elm.
No, I like Scott Jennings. For me, I like Scott Jennings.
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
I do. I think Scott Jennings would be outstanding. Sage Steele, I don't think she's strong enough. And I'm not saying that. Yeah, I don't think she's got
Because she's a woman.
No. Listen.
Well, Dan.
Well, Dan.
I liked Alina Hubba Hubba. Hubba Hubba. Alina Hubba Hubba.
You can't gear your way up to being tough enough for this group. You have to go in there guns
That's
a-blazing.
exactly
Yes.
right.
So-
You need to be.
And Scott Jennings he's got it already.
Well, and he's used to being, the guy that's being yelled at by the liberals.
Yeah.
So I think he would be great. I would love it if he would, because I've turned into a big Scott Jennings fan. I really have. And I think I don't know. Let me tell you something. If CNN ends up letting all those people go, you really think they're going to keep Scott Jennings? No, they're not. So he needs a gig.
Well, but he's the steadying force there. If they plan to do something to become a real news organization, he could probably lead the charge.
Good point. Do you really think they're going to get rid of people like Anderson Cooper, though?
They have to. He pulls down $3 million a year.
Word on the street is yes. I don't know what
Anderson
street that
will be
is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think he'd be fine. He have the Vanderbilt family. I think he'd be fine. But I don't know who else. I mean, they got rid of Don Lemon, but they got rid of him for cause.
Yes.
It was because he's an idiot.
All you have to do is watch New Year's Eve and you'd know.
Yes.
Like that because he's an
I
idiot.
like it.
I actually, that just came off right at the top of my head.
Very good.
Yeah, I used to have to write my jokes 4 days in advance and then,
and make sure we listen to them.
yeah.
Real good.
Exactly right. And then if you don't, I'll just repeat it over and over again like
Yes.
Well, Dan.
that. All right. What is coming? Are we done? What else we got? Is that it?
I think that's it.
Okay. You had another story though. We got about a minute.
Yeah. Naked man living in a crawl space in California.
Only in California.
Here's the best part. This elderly woman finds a naked man living in her crawl space under her home. He's naked. He's arrested, taken into custody. Do you know what he was charged with? Suspicion of trespassing.
What?
Suspicion.
Only in California.
Only in California.
Can a naked man be in your crawl space? And it's like, well, we think he may have been trespassing. This poor woman is 93 years old. I don't know what she was doing in her own crawl space anyway. And then
Good question.
to find a naked man down there, it's like, well, I think I should call somebody to check this out. This doesn't seem like regulation. But.
Well, Sonny, was like Christmas.
What is it? We got to pivot. AMMA?
Armored MMA?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's medieval knights.
Crazy.
And they're doing fights in like full knight armor. Me and Murphy are going this weekend. And
no. Murphy is not going this weekend. Apparently, I am being told I'm standing in.
You're standing in? Dude, we're gonna have a blast. I'm bringing my boy Brooks, the 7-year-old.
So this is like fighting with armor?
So it's fighting with armor, and they have like it's a lot of weapons.
Hold on, are you going to try it out? Are you going to like do it?
Well, me and Murphy thought about doing it and fighting each other.
Yeah.
Corporate put the kibosh on it.
No,
and then
can't imagine that.
And then when we got there and we saw these guys actually training and fighting in the armor, we're like, thank God for corporate.
So I'm going to this, apparently.
Yeah. You're in the corner of one fighter. I'm going to be in the corner of the other then.
Okay.
We're managers.
I don't.
So you guys tally down.
In the corner?
Yeah. You're like Bobby the Brain Heenan. I can be like Captain Lou Albano.
So I'm going to be like, telling him how to fight?
In a sense, yeah.
You got to punch more.
He's gonna look at you. He's gonna look at you and gonna say, "Well, Dan."
Dan.
Might give you the finger too. Like,
listen, you need to polish your armor more. That's what you need to do. That's what.
The shine will get in his eyes.
it's a strategy.
Blind the opponent. You know.
Would you like some dangria?
I guess I'll be there. So, are their listeners going to be there too?
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
It's going to be a blast, man. We're I'm actually very, very excited to watch this, and it's going to be nonstop action all night. 12 fights.
Violence. Your violence. It's going to be nonstop violence.
They told me that they go as far as they can to the line of violence without police having to press charges.
Good Lord.
I love it.
How long is this thing?
It's a few hours.
Murphy, you owe me one. I'm sure that I'm going to have a great time.
No, we're going to have a blast.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm bringing Brooks.
Okay.
Bring Riker if he's around.
That's a good idea.
We'll get the kids in the VIP.
No, Riker's with his dad. And but you sure Brooks isn't going to start to like use the moves on his kids, on his brother and sister?
He's already using the moves, Dan.
There you go. All right, got to go. 8:55 WTN.